Hi everyone, welcome to the next episode of Tech Perspectives with Prasant. Here we delve into the world of technology and gain valuable insights from industry experts. Joining on today's episode is an accomplished professional, Senior General Manager and Head of IT at Skipper Limited. In the fast-paced digital landscape we navigate today, technology plays a pivotal role, and there is no better one to provide us with valuable perspectives than an IT expert like Subrata, who has seen the technology landscape evolve over the years. So let's welcome Mr. Roy to Tech Perspectives with Prashant. Hello, Mr. Roy. Welcome to Tech Perspectives with Prashant.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's my pleasure, sir. Mr. Roy, please tell us a bit about your journey over the years and more about your role as a senior GM and IT head at Skippers Limited.
See, I started long back. My career spans almost around 30 years. And I started as a programmer in my life. Okay. And my first assignment was with a company called Simplest Concrete Piles India Limited. And I still remember the Hazira phase 2 of Reliance was going on at that time.
Mhm.
So I, being a young lad, was sent there to computerize their site billings and all those things, because Reliance in those days used to deny handmade bills. So those were unheard things in those days. But so I started in that way. I worked with Simplest Concrete Piles India Limited, and then I worked with Bhushan Steels and Strips for a brief span, and then Apollo Tires for almost 10 years, and then Rubbermain for 4 years in Baroda, and then Hero Group, and then Hindustan National Glass, a startup in Mumbai, Usha Martin, and now Skipper Limited. So I have traversed almost all the domains except hospitality and tourism. And so it's a learning. Technology has evolved a lot. It has evolved a lot from where it used to be. But technology, you have to choose your part. There are a lot of things available in the market, right? So you have to understand what you need for your business. There can be hundreds and thousands of things that might be available in the market, but you need to pick and choose the right thing so that you can align your IT initiatives with your business initiatives, where the ROI on the business is the most important thing to be done from a tech leader point of view. Though in India, the CIOs are still not part of the board, okay, but it is high time that the CIOs are part of the board, because none of the business functions in today's world can function without an IT, right? So the thought process of the business leaders needs to be aligned with the thought process of the IT, so that there is a proper amalgamation and you get a proper return on investment. Otherwise, there is a lot of hue and cry in the industry, especially in the manufacturing sector. You'll find that people say IT, we invest a lot in IT, but what is the ROI? So that is where the whole amalgamation should be there along with the business.
You have mentioned a very important point, right? It all starts at top and then gradually floats within the organization. And CIO is a critical role in that sense, which should definitely be part of boards because they have a voice and they have an important voice. And post COVID, if you see, right, everything is driven on technology. So technology is the fabric on the business is happening. For close to 2 years, everything was shut, and it was only technology that kept the businesses going, that kept the stock market ticking, right? So that's a very valid point. Uh, so my next question is in continuation to the previous one. You just mentioned that CIO has a responsibility towards business transformation, right? And they need to align the IT strategies with the evolving needs of the user base that you have. So there was a time in slide past where new tools and softwares were freely finding a way into organization. Everyone was coming with new SaaS platform, and it appeared fancy and ultimately got adopted by the users. But eventually, procurement and the IT heads realized, and IT heads were always of the view that we need to be very conscious about bringing a new platform because this is a year-on-year thing. But having done all of that, now there is more sensitivity whenever a new platform is adopted or brought in the organization. There are more checks and balances. So the SaaS industry in general, how do you see it going from here?
SaaS is here to stay, right? SaaS and PaaS are here to stay because in manufacturing industry, especially, you cannot afford to have huge amount of IT teams to maintain and the requirements of business. So you find specific tools which are in need of your business. You just hire and use them, but at the same time, one needs to find out what are your security parameters that are there because SaaS platforms are readily available everywhere. So you need to understand your data security point of view, okay, and your protection of your assets basically because those are your data, those are lying in cloud in a SaaS platform, and how your assets are protected and how the access is controlled. So those things you need to figure out. And definitely don't go to the market and buy everything. You first do your research, put your ROI. I'm a very old timer. I always say that put your ROI on the paper. What do you want to achieve out of it? And then sign, let the business also sign with it. And then you are also aligned what is the ROI that we're looking into, maybe in a 3 months time, 6 months time, 1 year down the line. So that can be measured in terms of that. So that is most important to for selecting any software tools for that matter, not only SaaS, but SaaS is here to stay, definitely.
That makes a lot of sense because SaaS kind of helps you amortize the cost over the years as well as keep bringing the new enhancements in versus the one-time purchase platforms. So with SaaS kind of platforms, right, the security becomes an important aspect because now you're opening multiple doorways into your organization because all these are different servers, different placements across the world. So as technology continues to evolve, staying ahead of cybersecurity threats is crucial. So how do you see that becoming a priority number one or two or three in that CIO charter?
See, for every CIO post the pandemic, especially, okay, post the pandemic, especially, not only for CIOs, not only for organizations, even for normal human beings, cyber threat is looming large, right? We are using so much wallets, payment wallets in our mobiles, connected with our banks, without understanding actually what is happening. A lot of people avoid two-factor authentications. अरे यार 2 बार कौन authenticate करेगा उसको, ठीक है ना? So those things people need to be educated. Okay, see, no tools can protect you in this world. Okay, no tool in this world can protect you. Otherwise, the kind of the NASA's or of this world would not have been had, right? So they are much more protected. Their budgets are huge, humongous budgets. They have very advanced tools, but still they are not protected. Protection will come only from human awareness. Okay, you have to be very, very aware because a lot of people are getting duped in the cyber attacks daily. And this has to be a sustained journey. Along with tools, you have to align the human side of it also. So it is most important to have. And to have within the organization trainings, awareness sessions, okay, those things are most important. Even in the society, it is needed. And I particularly speak and believe that like we fought the COVID, right? There was a lot of awareness campaign that has happened. Not only the vaccination has helped to evade it, even the awareness among people was there, which the government and the media, the agency. So those kind of awareness needs to be spreaded in the society about cyber security, because if global if we want to become a global economy, or if we want Make in India to happen, technology will be there, and people needs to understand what they're doing. Because today, a wallet is available even with a vegetable dealer or a rickshaw puller. So those people are most likely to be duped.
Hmm.
So you have to understand how you are using it, and that social awareness should spread. That is how Digital India can happen.
Absolutely, that is very important. Otherwise, this whole progress can actually go for a toss, because if
Yes,
these things start becoming talk of the town, then people become spectacle again, and then they say that, okay, this is not working. Let's go back to our old ways of doing things.
right.
So, so absolutely, it is very important. And the thing that you mentioned, that no amount of money can protect you. It is only that awareness that
It
can
is
do
the
it.
awareness. You see, everybody is using social media today, right? WhatsApp, Facebook is very common. Everybody is using.
Hmm.
Whatever click comes, if you know which one to click and which one not to click, is the most important thing. It is a split seconds decision that can ruin you basically.
Yeah. So, Mr. Roy, I remember writing a white paper from marketing side on passwordless authentication. And this is about 3.5 years old. But even till today, I see that passwords are here. They are not going anywhere. Even with the biometrics and all, uh, you must be having Google accounts. How many passwords you remember on your fingertip? Sometimes you need to reset it. And that is where a vulnerability point comes into play. So are you seeing some kind of innovation happening on the passwordless side of things?
See, there will be platforms that will come with password less or something like that. How you are going to take it forward, or how the technology is going to do, because lot of apps today comes, the mobile apps you use, that once you set the password, you use your fingerprint to unlock it,
Hmm.
right? But so that is also in a sense a password only, right?
Mhm.
You have shifted from the original key in password to a digital form, right? Or to a biometric form basically. So passwords, I think, will be staying, okay, but the forms will differ. Say if you do it through a fingerprint or through your iris, okay, so those will secure you, and you don't have to remember it at the same time,
Hmm.
right? But multi-factor authentication has also is also here to stay, and that should also stay, I believe.
Yes.
So biometrics can be a replacement, but how many of these devices or apps can allow you to have a biometric? Whether the softwares are prepared for it or not, that's also an important thing, because you talked about the SaaS platform. How many of them can be authenticated through a biometric device? If I even have a biometric device attached to my laptop or something like that, so that technology needs to evolve a lot. But biometric can be a sure short good solution instead of manual passwords and remembering passwords.
Yeah. With biometric, what secure the privacy aspect also comes into play.
Right.
Individually, it's fine, but if you start deploying it, let's say in your company, the whole privacy issue pops up.
Yes. So your biometrics is available to the globe.
True.
So those things are always there. There will be a flip side to technology everywhere, and you need to balance it out. And because that biometrics needs to be stored in their database, that's only how they can authenticate it. Otherwise, it
Yeah,
is not.
obviously, there is no other
Anyways,
way.
people are using fingerprints and iris for their attendance in offices as well. So biometric anyways has become public, but people in India are not aware of it, that they're
Hmm.
giving away their fingerprints easily to anybody and everybody. But with the maybe the Personal Data Protection Act coming in, I don't know what will be the clauses of it. How do we do it? And secondly, one thing comes into my mind is that this cloud and SaaS business that is going on everywhere, you find every nook and corner there is a cloud service provider. Okay, there needs to be some regulations and restrictions that needs to come in how they handle the data, how what kind of protection they need to give, because you are trusting them and giving them your everything, right? So
Yes.
they need to reciprocate in a way so that they say even if you part ways with them, they don't twist you, or they are bound by legalities or audits or checks and balances to maintain that sanctity. Some had that legal, this thing needs to come in compliance. Legal compliances needs to be framed so that they also become compliant.
Yeah, absolutely. It is very important. There should be a lifetime life cycle defined for all these things.
Yeah,
Capturing always remembers, but people forget to purge when is the time to actually kill them, delete them from the
yeah,
database.
yeah. Because say if you are I'm in A cloud, tomorrow I'm moving my application to a B cloud. What guarantee do I
Hmm.
have that the A cloud provider has removed all my data? I don't have.
Yeah.
So I also need some kind of a protection, or they need to have some kind of obligations in terms of compliances, so that they also satisfy us, and our auditors also check those things, that whether those things are complied with or not. So it is a complex matter that needs to be sorted out. We are digitizing fast. We have digitized very fast during the pandemic, but checks and balances needs to come. I think our awareness levels are little less, because what happens in India is that we have spread it very fast. Even
Hmm.
in villages and everywhere it is spreaded. But I don't know how much people are aware of it. Also.
Yeah. In fact, you very carefully used the word digitize and not digitalized. In a way, these two things are different, right?
Yeah,
Digitization is easy. It's like you just start today and everything becomes digital. But are you really digitalized? Are you ready for it? Are your users ready for it? More importantly.
that is the most important thing. See, from an organization perspective, also we find that people are not aware. When
Hmm.
you put a restriction, there will be a lot of resistance coming in. That is
Yes.
also a challenge to the CIOs. But people fail to understand. But because social awareness is less, because that
Hmm.
awareness needs to be spread.
Yeah, absolutely. So from the security, let's actually go into the business softwares now. One aspect is customer experience, right? Your customer can be a B2B customer, your customer can be a B2C customer. B2C is slightly ahead of the curve because probably it's a high churn business, it needs to have a repeat business, versus B2B is more like you buy it and then you deploy it, and then it's like you're settled for a couple of quarters or years maybe, right? So do you see that people adopting to customer experience, the 360-degree customer experience from their inquiry to delivery to post delivery kind of scenario in B2B space or B2C space? And basically where I'm going about is the application of CRM type of platforms in your sales and marketing cycles.
Yeah. See, B2C is more customer centered rather than B2B. Okay. But in today's world, even B2B businesses are repeated.
Hmm.
Right. So
Because of
you have,
SaaS.
because of SaaS. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then the experience of the customer also matters in the market today. If you search the Google, how is keeper's experience, how is the experience of customers with keeper, if you have a bad name in the market, you cannot afford to have an order
Hmm.
from a new customer. Even a repeat is a different thing. So these customer awarenesses are coming up. CRMs are in place. We are a big B2B player. Okay, so
Hmm.
we are also using Salesforce. Okay, so that is there. And and in the B2C space, obviously, people were much more aware about the customer centricity, not from today, say maybe around 20 years back, 15 years back, because I worked with Apollo Tires in the year 1998 to 2008. I
Hmm.
have seen loyalty programs being run at that time also.
Yeah.
So, though they are not in digital platforms, but uh, that was there. So that was there, and it has modernized a lot today with the
Hmm.
digital platforms coming in, you get direct customer feedbacks, right? So people do bother a lot. They have their help desks, they have their call centers. So it matters a lot.
Absolutely. So you mentioned about CRM. On the other side of the spectrum is enterprise resource planning, right? Because both these platforms are in a way important to run the end-to-end business for any company that is specifically in manufacturing and distribution kind of scenario, right? So so what I see is I follow SAP quite a lot, and they are trying to do a lot of events in Indian market for adopting ERPs, right? Globally there is a decent level of adoption, but if you look at Indian scenario, the difference between accounting software versus ERP software is still not that clear to many, especially in that SMB segment, the MSME segment. So do you see that it is important for them, or it is something that they don't have to worry at this point, they can delay it?
See, the thing is that SAP is running a global Bharat movement for this only.
Yeah,
So I was part of one of the sessions in Calcutta.
that's
And
great.
see, the RISE platform they have brought in
Hmm.
I think, will rope in a lot of MSMEs because people cannot afford to have big number of IT teams and big investments for running this kind of a software. But with the RISE coming in, people even with small user bases can go there where SAP can take a lot of responsibility. Only thing that matters is the pricing of it. They
Hmm.
have to price it in a way, I do not know how, but they will have to do something. But what my thought goes is that if you want digital India to happen, if you want India to globalize, okay, we want India to become a global hub, the MSMEs needs to digitize first, okay, and for that, there should be some kind of a government incentive to them
Hmm.
to adopt digitization, right? Like they give for CSR activities, they get some benefits. Okay, those kind of benefits may be in form of a tax or a low interest loans. Those things needs to be rolled out by the government because see, core needs to be good. Okay, why we talk about SAP, why we talk about ERP? Because
Hmm.
your core needs to be strong. Your fundamentals, your books of accounts needs to be strong. Your core needs to be strong. Then only you can have applications in and around it. There will be hundreds of other applications that might be required by the business, which you are maybe using in a SaaS platform, but anything. But any activity you do in a business has got a financial impact, and that must roll back to your core fundamental ERP from and so seamlessly without any intervention of any person in between. That will help you bring the trust of global customers, right, and global
Hmm.
investments also. See how you are doing, because I see a lot of small companies where global investments are coming. Even some startups where global investments are coming, they are going into SAP because the
Hmm.
investors are insisting on going into it.
Hmm.
So we need to build that infrastructure. People needs to be the SMEs and MSMEs needs to be incentivized by the government in some way or the other to adopt this digital path. Otherwise, this price sensitivity in the market is going to be there. They will say, if I get SAP for 100, I am getting Tally for 100 minus 50. Why will I not go for Tally? So that is also
Yeah.
ERP problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the fundamentals at the end of the day for the business doesn't matter to them, but the importance of this they can understand when they grow substantially. But at a time when you are in the peak of growth, now, these things you cannot change on a drop of a hat, right?
Exactly.
So you have to prepare for the bigger picture, and this can really help if the government can come up with some kind of a subsidy, and with this RISE platform coming in. SAP trying to, a global company trying to handle them. So those are good things to happen.
In fact, if we look at it, right, whenever government wants to grow particular geography, they set up SEZ, right? It is the first step that happens, that if you install your business here, you get certain benefits, tax rebates for X number of years, and we somehow need to bring this digital first thinking in policies as well. That
Absolutely, it should be. It should be. It should be. Government should have certain policy. See, only saying digital India, global India, it will not happen. You have to make sincere efforts to make it happen. See, the bigger ones are already digitized. Okay. They have not digitized today. They have started digitizing 20 years back. So they are in different leagues altogether, right? They are in different leagues altogether. But you have to have the majority chunk coming into this fold. And this is high time we do it because our economic parameters are looking good. The whole world, China is collapsing in some way or the other. Though I'm not an economist, but the people are looking into India. So it is high time that we build our economy, make our companies self-sufficient and globally competitive. That is most important to happen. We have to make them globally competitive, and these are the fundamentals of making them globally competitive.
Yeah, this adds up the overall trust, right? Like you mentioned about the investor. Your customer also sees that what kind of platforms you are using, how prone they are to kind of manipulations versus how good they are to being fair. And platforms like this build that confidence and trust in doing business.
Yeah.
Right, great. So I've come to my last question for you, though it is I don't want to call it last. I want to continue our conversation because it is so rich in terms of the insights and the actions that should happen. So we all have limited resources, even if it's a large company or if it is a small company. Like small company probably cannot afford a big ERP platform today, but even large companies would have their own trade-offs, right? Even though you want to do certain initiatives, we are all limited by resource constraints in some way or the other. So are you seeing that resource constraint on digital part, the IT budgets, are they growing in the Indian ecosystem, and you're seeing more flexibility of trying out new things, or you still feel that we are still some way from that point where we have reasonable budget? So basically, the question is, are you seeing that right percent allocation happening for IT budgets out of the profits?
See, I would like to put this answer this question in a different way. Okay, a lot of things are spoken about cyber security, digitization in the boardroom. Okay, but walking the talk, okay, is still there is a fair bit of gap in between that. But I should say, if I compare it with say maybe 10 years back or 5 years back, things has improved a lot. Things has improved a lot, and board or business has understood that they have to, if they have to grow, they will have to have their IT backbones, and the spend is also going up. I will not say it is a downward trend; it's a going up trend, and one or two things I'd like to highlight here, because see, people who have even have resources, they are a bit skeptical in investing. Why? Because earlier they have burned their fingers because they have invested a lot, they have not got the ROI. And this has happened basically due to one or two reasons. One is that there is a lot of this thing, there is a lot of unethical selling that happens. Right? People come, vendor comes, they just sell you a product, tell you anything, and they go away. Right? And when you, at the time of implementation, there is nobody there, because that is the biggest pain. You can have the world's best software, but if you are not able to implement and drive the change down the line, then you are a failure. Right? So those kind of experiences also are there with them. That is why they are a bit skeptical. But I think the thing, the investments has improved.
Yeah, that's a good first step, right? Because everything costs, everything good needs
Everything
investment.
costs. See, there are two things. What I believe, as IT professionals, we also need to follow is that when you are talking to the board or you're taking up a presentation, okay, don't sell them a dream. Okay, tell them the pros and cons and let them take a conscious decision. See, everything will not be a win-win situation for, right? You can bring the world's best software, but if you're not able to implement it and run it down the line, then it will not yield you any results. So those things needs to be tabled in black and white so that they understand they also know what the gaps in the running the business or adapting to those technology within the organization is a problem, or what sort they need to do, so that everybody is aligned. See, what happened earlier is that people used to come and sell them dreams. I still remember in one meeting, one of my directors told me that यार ये तो पहले बोला था कि हमारे यहाँ आएगा तो if implemented my manpower will become half. I said I don't know who has sold you. Okay, because the data has to be entered into the system, right? Now, tools in and around it, built around it, you can do the digitalization and you can reduce the manpower count. But your base ERP is not going to reduce the manpower. So these kind of experiences they still carry. And then when we say, they said कि नहीं उस समय तो हमको ये बोला था तो आप भी ये बोल रहे हो. How do I trust? So that deficiency is still there. But anyways, there has to be a lot of lot of buy-in has come in for the IT. That's not a problem. But I think there has to be a fair bit of ethicalness from whom we are inside, or who, the vendors who are coming in. There has to be a very transparent talking, right? Apart from sales, there has to be some ethics built into it.
That is very important, because again, the point comes to trust, right? You are trusting and you're putting your skin in the game by bringing a new platform. And if the things are not done fairly, ultimately you are put to risk. Your personal credibility is involved in it.
Right? Absolutely. No, see, that is what I believe. I always believe in one thing. Go to the business and tell them, boss, this is the pros and cons of it. Okay, now you decide what to do. Right. Let them take a decision. Let them take an informed decision. That is most important. They need to take an informed decision.
Yeah, and inform both ways.
My mind is that, just to cut you short, that in India, the ROI doesn't come due to another reason also. During the product evaluation, we don't dedicate that much of time. Okay. There is a pre-notion product that comes into your mind, okay, and you want to acquire it or you want to use it. But I think product evaluation should be fair enough, because it might be a very good product for somebody else. It might not suit you. So that is most important.
That fitment requires an exercise of...
Absolutely. You have to spend time on it.
Yes.
Business has got little less patience on that, but they'll have to understand, because that is most important. Fitment to your business is most important.
Yeah, I mean, get more POCs done, because nowadays implementation partners are open to giving POCs. So try more POCs, make maximum use of the available avenues before you are confident that, yes, this is the right way to go.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Roy. It was lovely talking to you. And thank you for giving me your time on a Saturday afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.